First word on the podcast, that way. Alright, so whenever you want. Yeah, isn't it annoying to play ads on like non-monetized channels?
What is up with that? Right.
They just get to play with ads whenever they want to. And then if you get to partner, you're like, oh, you can make money off these now too.
Stupid.
Alright, so who do you want to say plebs? And who do you want to... Okay.
You, and then I say the rest.
Okay. Hey, plebs.
Oh, I thought you were going to do
no, I'll do the whole thing. Yeah, I thought it'd be cute if we went 1-1. But that should explain.
No.
Okay. Hey, plebs, welcome to the respawn point.
Before you respawn back in, we've got all your latest gaming intel. You know, the weekend really roughs you up, and you get back to Monday and you got to respawn. So we're going to help you do that. And so... before you continue on with your week, join us at the Respawn Point for Respawn Mondays. We're your hosts, Nick Berry and Elias Christensen.
This week we'll be talking about Overwatch and the latest patch notes. Bleh. Battlefront 2, is it pay to win? And what is ARC? Why should we play it? So what have we been playing this week, Nick?
Alright, so for the past 2 weeks I've been playing a mixture of different things. I'm going to start with, I've been playing Overwatch, obviously, very popular game. Lately... You know, I've been trying to pick a hero that I can really learn and just stick with. So I've been learning D.Va, which is a character when I first started playing the game, like I played, but like I kind of just dropped and never played her again.
I played her once. Like, yeah. It was a foreign concept.
So I actually did a comp game, and we got a really good group of guys. So we joined the next game together, did a 6v6. Obviously, you all in a group together, so you can get matched with another group of 6. So it was actually like really awesome, where we had a really good team. You know, we worked really good as a team, and so I actually had some really good situations where I used my Matrix to block someone's ult entirely, and, and nice. The team was like, "Oh, like this D.Va is so good." It was so it was good. There's one point where they had a Pharah and a Reaper, so Pharah ulted, I got the whole thing. And then another time where towards the end the Reaper ult then blocked the whole thing. It's kind of OP, but it feels really good when you pull it off. Cause, it takes a lot of, you have to be aware of where they are. You know, you really have to focus. Like, you have to be ready.
Yeah.
So, definitely. But it was the King of the Hill match, and we went to 5 rounds, and it was like it was like 30 minutes, but we ended up winning, so that was nice. Good. So the next thing was actually I was playing some PS4. I picked up Ratchet & Clank, which if you guys have never played that game before, I would suggest starting there. It's only $20, and if you never played the series, it's a great starting point because it's a remake of the original. So it's similar to the original, but there's definitely a lot of new things. So they kind of take some good points from the whole series and bring that into one game. There's some really good nostalgia in there if you have played it before. I do have some irks with it, but nothing too crazy. Like, just for an example, like, in the old games, your save file would tell you, like, how many hours you've played. Because once you beat the story, you can do, like, challenge mode as many times as you want. So it would tell you, like, what challenge mode level you were on. Okay. And then how many hours. It doesn't, like, give you certain things like that, allow for, like, the menu. But it's easily overlooked. It's a great game.
All right, nice.
So that was about it.
Yeah, okay. So this week I played some Overwatch with you guys. Nothing competitive or anything. I'm not that deep in it, but mostly I got on to check out Doomfist because new character seemed interesting. I only got to play him in like 2 games though, like out of a whole evening because people were just like insta-locking him. He seemed neat. I thought, like, right off the bat, his primary fire, the shotgun out of his fist, his, alternative fist,
right,
was way too powerful.
Really?
Because, like, I would think, like, you're gonna big power moves, but, like, he can lay down some solid damage with the shotgun thing, or with, like, the 4 darts that come out.
Right, yeah.
Like, I found that was doing, like, a quarter of some low people's health, you know?
With one hit, or are you saying all 4?
Single. Well, yeah, if you get all 4. If you
would kill them.
A close range.
Okay.
not like an instant one. So, yeah, so you have the 4 little things.
Yeah.
4 of those. Yeah, you could kill them in one succession.
So like if you interweave those with like your abilities,
that's what it seemed like. At least on like more glass cannon-y type characters.
Gotcha.
Something big for me. I play a lot of Ark. They announced new servers, so and we'll get into this in the news, but basically everything I've been working for the last year is worthless. But I have all the knowledge. The knowledge is really what you're always able to restart faster each time. So we'll get back.
Yeah, that's true.
We have some plans with our current alpha about what we're gonna do when they release the new servers. Basically, all I've been doing now is just going to other servers and messing with people because there's no point to like growing your base or anything like that. Right, because you know
it's gonna restart.
Yeah, so we're just going around killing people. I just made some changes on my computer, so I had to reinstall all my games because I was lazy and I didn't want to clone my Steam drive as well. So I like logged into CS:GO. I had to redo all my settings, so I still my crosshair. I'm pretty sure my crosshair is exactly the same, but my sensitivity, I wasn't sure if I was at like 1.83 or 1.75. I always use 400 DPI, and then I'm pretty sure I used raw input on. I don't know. It's like I'm not that professional as a CS:GO player, so I didn't have all these things written down. I don't have a config file. I don't have an auto exec. Then I overclocked my PC. I got to 4.55 gigahertz, which was pretty. You were there. It was pretty fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I had tried overclocking it before, and I couldn't even get like 1.1 gigahertz out of it. It wasn't stable in anything, and I think it was either just the lack of cooling to the VRM that I had before, or potentially I changed the RAM, so that could have been an issue. I don't know. It was Dominator Platinum though, so I don't know why it would be an issue.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So
and you did say because Ark is a very CPU intensive game.
Yeah.
So you said in your Ark base, which is there's so many things to load and run, it like doubled your FPS.
Yeah, doubled my. I went from like 19, 18 frames to like almost 40 frames basically. In base, and even like in some parts of the base, like 60 frames a second. I mean, at the settings, I've lowered settings,
right?
Because we have so much stuff. It's just unplayable. I don't understand how some people have some of the bases they do, but yeah. So it's a great experience for me now.
All right, well, we can move on to the news. We'll probably do this because there's quite a few things to cover, so we'll kind of move through it. The first couple things. The Destiny 2 beta was over the weekend, and I only got to play a little bit of it. I didn't get to play a lot because obviously it was PS4, so the PC one's not out yet. Which actually got announced. It's going to be for the Destiny 2 beta for PC is going to be August 28th if you pre-order, and then the 29th to the 31st for everyone else. So you only get one extra day if you pre-order.
Okay.
So I don't know how much that's worth.
It's like if you want to be if you want to be in endgame soon.
Yeah, if you love the game that much,
that really matters to you, then yeah, it's gonna be an issue.
And then the recommended specs, Core i5 2400, or if you have a Ryzen, it's the R5 1600X. Which if you have the 1600 like I do, it's the same thing. It'll be fine.
Okay.
So and that's recommended. Obviously, the minimum is even way below that, and 8 gigs of RAM. It says a GTX 970, so
yeah, for most PC enthusiasts, that's gonna be doable.
Yeah.
Especially with Ryzen now, everybody's been refreshing their systems. I feel like Ryzen's been such a big hit that that's not gonna be in it. Yeah, everybody that was on not 6600s, 6300s, AMD 6300s. It was a huge CPU. I think everybody's upgraded from that generation. So
yeah, and so this was announced through the PlayStation. I saw on the Facebook page. So they announced more pre-order bonuses besides just the early day for obviously the PS4, but also the PC. So there's 2 new things. There's a new gun called Cold Heart. It's a new exotic trace rifle, which is the only gun of its class.
Okay.
It's brand new. So you get that early. Otherwise, they'll wait until December 5th if you don't pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing was a kill tracker ghost. So your ghost in game, which helps you identify certain things on the map. It'll keep track of like your kills and your deaths.
Oh, okay.
At least I'm sure your kills. So and then
so that's like stat track on like
exactly.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
It's cool.
I would pay for that definitely.
Yeah. So but and the big thing is that it's unsure if the kill tracker ghost will be available any other way. For the first Destiny, there was the red ghost shell, and now is exclusive to the pre-order for a full year.
Okay.
So if you didn't pre-order, you wait like a whole year.
Okay.
Until it was available to everyone else.
I'm pretty sure the camera just shut off, and I don't know why. Okay. If not, I'll fix it. But yeah, give that 30 seconds. I should have thought either it's dead battery. Yeah. Okay. That was going pretty good though. We won't stop the stream. We'll just have it. Okay. 11 minutes and the auto time off disable. Sweet. Okay. While we're down, I'm gonna change the battery just in case. Can you throw me that battery next to you? Good.
We're gonna have to edit that audio.
Quick change. Edit what audio?
For the podcast.
Oh, for what?
What do you mean, for what?
I don't know.
Like, the audio's still going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's true, yeah.
We'll have to edit that mid
that
section.
was technical difficulties. Good reminder, because I could have said, like, something I shouldn't say or something. Stupid camera. Okay, technical difficulties, guys. Sorry. It's my first time.
So again, Kill Tracker Ghost cool. So if you want it, pre-order, because otherwise you might have to wait for a long time.
And of course it's not focused, so I'm gonna have to get up again. But yeah, I would say with the like stat track weapons and stuff like that, like I pay a premium.
Right, yeah.
An unusual premium for stuff like that. So that would definitely be worthwhile for me.
Okay. I think Connor texted me. He's like, "Rip."
Nice. Hey, Connor, how's it going?
So just real quick. Connor's actually better with Monster Hunter, but a couple of new weapons that was announced again on the PlayStation Facebook page. We got the Switch Axe. Actually, no, there's 4. We got the Switch Axe and ranged light bow gun.
Okay.
So the Switch Axe can transform into a long-reaching axe or a swift sword. Has an element discharge for bonus damage. And then the light bow gun specializes in rapid fire and mobility. And then another 2 dual blades, which have flurry attacks. I'm guessing a lot more mobility, agility, quick attacks. And then the insect glaive, which is a double-edged staff. Think like double-sided lightsaber.
Yeah.
But it actually enables aerial attacks. So like you should watch the video. You can like fly through the air basically.
Nice. Ooh. Okay. All of those sound pretty like I've never played Monster Hunter, but just hearing those weapons, I want to play because anything like the Switch Axe, anything with an elemental discharge, like doing elemental damage, like that just takes me back to ESO. Like you had to imbue everything, like and obviously double-sided lightsaber sounds fun. Dual blades, I'm always a dual wielder, almost always. Like I can't go two-handed sword. I can't do it, never. Like so yeah, that all sounds pretty fun.
Yep. So that was basically it for other stuff. We're going to move on to Overwatch, and that will take up the majority of the next news because there's a bunch of news because of the new patch.
Yep.
So we have a couple of big things. Duplicates found in loot boxes have been drastically reduced. which is great because it's the worst feeling of getting that legendary, seeing the yellow, and then it's one you've already had.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but with that, the overall amount of credits received in loot boxes has been adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get less duplicates, but like if you do get a duplicate, it'll probably be more credits. And same thing with getting credits. So they said, so it should be the same, if not slightly more.
I've never gotten a duplicate legendary.
No,
but,
okay.
So, yeah. I haven't played that much.
Well, I definitely have.
So, how much coins do you usually get for that?
If it's a duplicate?
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
Because with Hearthstone, basically, if you got a duplicate of a legendary, you just dusted it. So, it's part of, like, the crafting system, because you can craft anything for dust. And you would get half of what it costs to make it. So, if you got two...
I don't think you... Because it costs 1,000 credits
to buy a legendary. You don't get 500. You don't
get 500.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that would be the thing. If it was like that, it'd be consistent with other Blizzard games. But
no, yeah, I think it's different.
Okay. But there's also not as many legendaries in Overwatch as there were in.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
actually, yeah, there's more.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's more. I'm not thinking of all the characters. Yeah. So it should be. It should be double. You would think you'd want 500, so I'm not sure on that, but...
Yeah, so, but I think... Yeah, I wouldn't...
They also probably expect to make a lot more money on it like that. Like, part of opening... Like, you just paid open packs all the time.
Right,
in Hearthstone.
Right. So, a good change there. Another big thing is players can now make their own highlights. Before, the game would randomly choose, like, a highlight from your games. Now you can... manually save them, and you can hotkey that to whatever you want.
That's nice. I like
and
that.
you can save up to 36 of them.
Oh wow!
So I think they last 12 seconds. But they say they only last until the next patch. So
you have to export them.
You have to export them, which you can do both on console and for PC. You can export them to your hard drive or whatever storage device you're using on console. Same. Obviously for PC. It does support up to 4K resolution.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, that's good.
Makes it a lot easier on, like, video makers and stuff like that.
There was actually, like, even Connor and his friend were playing, and he made his own highlight where Connor, who was playing Anna, saved him from a Genji. Yeah. And it was on Reddit. It got, like, really popular.
We should say CM Screw was playing.
Sure.
No, we can say whatever.
What else? Okay, so a couple character changes. First, let's go with Diva, which is awesome because I'm playing her right now.
Yeah, because you're all about that.
There's an update to Defense Matrix. It's not a huge change, but there's new sound effects and voice lines. So if like you absorb an enemy's ultimate, there'll be voice lines that indicate you did that, which is awesome because that's like the best feeling. So if there's a voice line, be like, even like with Zarya's ult sometimes, like sometimes you won't know you actually absorbed it. Yeah. But you'll hear her say it, and then you're like, okay, there was no graviton. I must have ate it.
Yeah.
So if Diva says something that indicates that, that's awesome. And then a very similar change to
Genji.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay, so so the next one is McCree. His flashbang now slows targets heavily for a very... it's not like an actual slow, but it's to prevent someone... like usually lots of times with like a Genji or a Tracer, they will... obviously they're so mobile, they'll be moving, and then you'll stun them and they keep moving. So the slow is going to kind of keep them in place so they're not like moving during the stun.
It's like not quite a root, but... sort of.
But okay. It's a technical thing that's like a really heavy slow, but it's basically just like a quality of life type of thing of the ability. So, you know, especially with like Genji because he's always jumping. Like you flashbang him, and then if he had jumped at the same time, like sometimes he could just jump around a corner even though you had stunned him. Yeah. So the slow is to prevent that type of getaway. Okay. Even though you obviously stunned him.
All right.
Reaper, his shadow step sound effect was reduced by 50%, which is a good change because you know you shadow step and they hear you. Like you'll the enemy will hear you, and
it
immediately gives away your position.
Get you, yeah.
So, I mean, good for Reaper, maybe not good for other people. I don't play Reaper, so...
Yeah, when I was first playing the game, I thought Reaper was really, dangerous, and he is. Like, a good Reaper can sneak up on you, no problem, but...
Well, especially when I'm playing D.Va, it's just like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
So... I don't know. I mean, especially with the other recent changes with his lifesteal. He's in a good spot. I've seen way more Reapers. It was actually during that D.Va comp game I played, because the first 2 matches we stomped. Like, well, we didn't stomp. It was a good match, but like we came out on top pretty clearly, and then someone switched to a Reaper, and they won the next 2 games. And the 5th game lasted for a really long time. It was an overtime for probably like 5 minutes. Like I'm not kidding. It was
just people always on the point.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, because and both sides had mercy. So sometimes matches can just last so long when you have a mercy.
When you have good healing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So next one is Reinhardt. His hammer swing speed increased by 10%.
That's nice.
So that's nice.
I always felt pretty vulnerable when I'm doing that. Like,
yeah,
you go after someone and like you can miss in between strikes, and then you're just like sitting there because they're already away from you, and you're just like trying to chase them.
So I think it was a little thing with there were some bugs I think associated with it they had fixed, and so the 10% is to kind of just make it feel overall more smooth.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then the last one is Zarya. Her Graviton Surge now disables mobility ability, so like Winston's Jump, or Pharah, or Tracer, Genji, a lot of them. So it works similar to Junkrat's Trap.
Oh, okay.
So you just can't use the ability anymore.
Okay.
It'll be like canceled out.
That's good.
So yeah, no, I mean especially because Zarya is like the ult takes so long to charge up. If you use it, then people immediately get out. Especially with dive comp being so popular, it can be kind of frustrating. So that's really good. Did you want to announce some of those arc?
I think we were gonna do the CS:GO stuff and then switch back to it. Just a quick thing. One, there was the ESL PGL. Sorry, PGL Krakow Major. Gambit won. Sort of an upset. Definitely, people had their money on SK. Definitely Astralis, the returning champions. And a lot of lower tier teams were able to make it pretty far in the big Immortals and Gambit. All made it to semifinals, if not quarterfinals. Pretty neat. It's one of the first majors that I've watched like consistently all the way through. I've usually kept track of like who's on top. I'll watch a highlight game, but seeing it like really just shows like how close the competition is, even between like what you might consider like a not in the top 10 tier of teams. Really close. There were some bugs. There's a jump crouch bug that was discovered, and people got all mad about that, but it's not a big deal. They'll patch it, no problem. I don't think it was... I mean, I think maybe because they didn't report it, and it is...
That was during a competition?
Yeah, during a competition, This team had
that's pretty...
They'd found a bug, and they waited to use it.
Right.
Which was, I mean... a lot of people thought it was ungentlemanlike.
Right.
But, so basically, if you were crouched, you could jump, uncrouch, and your player model wouldn't show, but you'd be able to see above a wall. So there were very specific places where it was pretty useful, specifically on this map Inferno. And so at the first couple games that it happened, like people were really mad. And after that, they said they came to a gentleman's agreement, like
not to do it.
No, you're gonna stop that.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Because PGL even had to decide, like, okay, are we gonna allow this, or are we gonna have them play the games again?
Right.
And then what are you gonna make the people like? No, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you can't make the people, because what if you jumped but you were crouched but you forgot and uncrouched? Like, it's just a bug. So, but I'm sure Valve will patch that sometime soon.
Yeah.
Then the bigger thing actually is ESL announced that the players from iBuyPower and other teams. They listed iBuyPower just because it's the most popular team that did it. People that match fixed in like major league competition are going to be unbanned in their league.
Okay.
It's not a necessary league, and I don't. Basically, sometimes Valve would use them for majors. They go back and forth between PGL, ESL, MLG, who host their majors. Like this PGL Krakow was a Valve-sponsored major.
Mm-hmm.
Not all competitions are Valve-sponsored.
Right, yeah.
And they'll use those all leading up to the, World Championship of the year. So, essentially, because Valve hasn't unbanned these people, just ESL saying, oh, yeah, you can play in our league. It's almost saying, like, Valve, you should do this, but it's putting themselves on the line, I think. They might never get a Valve major again. Like, that's a pretty big step. Right. And a lot of people are mad about it because there's people that are banned for cheating, like using an aimbot or whatever. And a lot of people have less of a problem with that. Not an aimbot, but like an aim button or whatever.
Yeah.
They're less mad at that than they would be at these people who, it chops the integrity of the sport in half.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have a huge problem with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think any type of competitive scene cheating is like, I mean, it's not unfun in just normal games, but for competitive, it's like...
Yeah, I think both things are pretty intense and shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So, I just don't think these people should be unbanned. Because match fixing is almost... It is just as bad, I would think, because then what's the point of watching the sport?
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's like, imagine... League of Legends. I mean, that's a big esport.
Yeah.
Someone's just scripting, like, straight
or
up.
someone just loses. And the thing is these match fixers, they didn't even match fix for, like, a ton of money. They didn't, like, throw games for a ton of money. They threw games for, like, bets on skins. You could bet skins on websites.
Yeah.
Of who's going to win this major or whatever. Like... Come on, you guys could probably get free skins. Like streamers get tons of free... I follow an Instagram page that gets free skins sent to him all the time.
Wow.
Just because he hosts funny CSGO memes or whatever. Like, don't do it. Not for skins. Like, get, like, $50,000. Like...
Oh, man.
Alright, so, yeah, then going back to ARC. They made a couple announcements, essentially with the... new servers on release. All the other servers before this will be called legacy servers. Official servers, that is. And specifically, I think it works this way on Steam, Microsoft, because the Microsoft Store is a separate thing. Microsoft Store will have crossplay with Xbox, but on Steam, Microsoft, Xbox, PS4. All the other servers will be called legacy servers, and they will wipe them if they get low population enough. So... everything will get wiped when people stop playing.
Right.
The new servers will be part of clusters, so you'll be able to go from the island to the center to Scorched Earth to Ragnarok. At first, this was going to happen on August 8th, next week, but I guess they said that their mastering certificate or whatever, like sending the game off to say it's finished, took a little longer than intended. So they said now with this extra time, because they have to wait till August 29th, with this extra time, they're gonna add more to Ragnarok before release, which is pretty cool, and that will come out August 29th. They said they're gonna finish a section as big as the island, in addition to what was already finished on Ragnarok.
Wow.
So,
what's like the theming of Ragnarok? Because obviously Scorched Earth is more desert.
Yeah.
Like,
so Ragnarok has like multiple biomes, like think Minecraft. Like you're actually same as the island, but more extreme.
Right.
There's a desert.
Right.
There's like a dragon area where it's like fire and brimstone. There's a northern area. Looks like there's a lot to do underwater. I've been like around the surface. There's an underworld. There's like...
So you can play right now.
Yeah. I can't. I'm pretty sure you can, but I'm not exactly sure. I haven't played it in like weeks, and I know that with the changes, they said it wasn't ready. I think maybe on console it might not be available.
Right.
Is what it
okay.
is.
I mean, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because it takes them a little longer to get things.
It kind of sounds like that's like where everyone will be playing
console.
No, I mean
Ragnarok.
Because like it's bigger. It has more diversity as far as the map goes. I mean,
for us, wanting to establish a spot of our own, especially because just on any server, day of launch, because everybody's got to start fresh if you want to like hold some territory.
Right.
We're gonna go with the island because we know it. We know it needs to be blocked off, and right now, our tribe and our Alpha's tribe is about 20 people. It would be really hard to hold it. We don't know because if you're really gonna block off a server, you want to block all the drops, all the beacons that come down. You want to put them up out of people's grasp so they can't get to them to get their stuff to transfer servers. So there's maps out there. I mean, so some of this is like, I don't think that breaches terms of service, like blocking a drop, but specifically blocking spawns. So let's say you spawn in a new character. I'm pretty sure that's against the rules. I've been to servers where people surround spawns in spikes. So you die. Like, you will die. And that's against... But that is a way to effectively block off your server. Like, no one can come.
Right. But, like...
So we know where all that stuff is on the island. And we know how to control it.
I mean, does the game have specific spawn points all the time? Like, 'cause obviously you can spawn in different locations of the island.
Yeah. Like, if you say South 2, probably one of the most popular places on Ark, or the island, rather. I'd say there's 1, 2, 3... maybe 4 spots I can think of. And they might vary like a little bit, like they might have a radius to them.
Right, but people just throw spikes everywhere.
Yeah, well, it'd be like a little circle of spikes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you couldn't jump over it. You couldn't. Yeah, you don't like die from the spikes automatically.
You just can't get out.
You just can't get out. Yeah.
You could have someone. I mean, if you had a friend already on the server, come like pick you up or something.
Yeah. If you had a friend already on the server, you could do that.
But yeah, I mean, that kind of just sounds like
it's a little extreme. It gives nobody a chance.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously we don't do that right now. We do have some beacons and stuff. Yeah, obviously you want to keep your obelisks locked down. So right now the island's just going to be easier for us to control. We're familiar with it. We do want, obviously, to get over to Ragnarok. I want a nice wyvern. But for right now, I mean, we'll look to it. There's also, when you think about Ark, there's alliances, and it goes up to a certain level, and we're part of a mega alliance and all that. Well, that our alpha is, and we're part of, we're going to be part of our alpha soon. So, we'll be able to go to another server safely and be allowed to be there. So we'll let them get a Ragnarok server.
Right. Yeah. And so just to clarify, for people who don't know Ark, up to this point, you could take your character who is level, say, 90-something, or whatever, and you can transfer them to a different server and start fresh, but you're still at that level.
Yep.
So and going forward...
Before, you could transfer all your stuff between servers, too. Dinos, tools, not structures, obviously. Those have got to stay.
Okay. But so now...
Unless it was something you could pay, like, you could move your chair between servers if you wanted to.
So going forward, when the game launches on August... 29th.
Yep.
Which is the same day as the beta for Destiny 2.
Day after, yeah. Or no.
No, it's...
Yeah.
Well,
for PC, yeah. Yep.
So, but regardless of that...
be playing Ark, I'm sorry.
No, regardless of that.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to do that once the game launches.
You will be able to, between all of the new servers and all the old servers, separately. So...
Okay.
If you're on a legacy server, you can transfer to a legacy server.
Okay, but you can't to a new one.
But you can't to a new one, yeah.
So but say once
if you want to play on new servers, you got to start fresh.
But say once you get to that, say like level 50 on the new servers, you can then transfer between new servers, though.
Yep, yeah, so you'll be able to go from Ark, or the island, to Center, to
Ragnarok.
Scorcher. Yeah, wherever you want to go.
Okay. So it's basically just a clean slate for... people going forward, but then at that point people will rework themselves up and it'll be similar to what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it's to alleviate some worries about duping. There was a lot of duping that happened, so that all that will not matter anymore. They fixed the issues, or they say they have. And I think a lot of it was just outrage at like how hard it is to get into the game, and the game's not even launched yet. Like you can't just go to a server and build yourself. Like it would be very hard. The game is very hard. There's no way around it. But essentially now, the way to play was, you better get into an alliance, buddy.
Right. Well, okay, so
now I think I do like the idea that on launch day. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on a fresh slate. Yeah. And we hope to be level 60 to 70 first day. Okay. We're hoping there will be a 2x weekend. A lot of times they do a 1.5. We could do it even with a 1.5. 2x would be butter. I got to level 60 in like a couple hours on a 2x weekend. Well. You just run around and get all the explorer notes. There's little things that give you 5 or 6 minutes. No, 10 minutes of 1.5 XP stacked on top of your 2 XP.
Okay, so it's just like a lot.
And then you get experience from just getting it. Mm-hmm. So then you just try to link them all running along.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Okay. Yeah. So, but again, like for a brand new player, even if they knew how to do that doesn't really help them learn the game because you would have a lot of things you could build, but you don't know exactly
what you should build,
what you should tame. So going along with that, maybe we can transition to one of our topics of the week.
Yep.
By the question of that will transition, but what if anything are they doing to make it easier to get into the game now that it's approaching an actual launch?
I don't know if they're really doing anything like that. They did say they just released when they talked about switching from August 8th to August 29th.
Right.
They did say, we were looking at it real quick, they're going to make the multiplayer boss battles easier. But that's really for someone who was at my level where we were ready to start, and even some of us had gone on boss battles, but we didn't really have the supplies to be doing it consistently. Like we didn't just have endless Rexes we could throw at it.
Right.
But so now it's going to be easier. So that's like a late mid-tier person. Like the thing that me and Matt and Cooper always talk about is that the mid game on this game is horrendous. Your early game is like get to metal, get good weapons. Then the mid game is so long, like 70 to 90, unless you're with a good tribe that knows how to do it. And it's really about getting knowledge.
Right.
Knowing what you should do. The whole game is just learning.
Right. And for those who don't know, I bought the game literally when it came out as early release.
Yeah.
I bought it, I forget, it was like $20 or $30. I thought, this is awesome, there's dinosaurs, survival, this is cool. The trailer sold it for me. So I bought it, played it, I told Elias, I told a lot of people to do. We should play this game. It looks cool. No one listened. No one listened. So, and I played it a little bit. Obviously, especially back then, the game was optimized really poorly. And I was just on my laptop at the time. Yeah. So, but it was hard because you just die a lot, and I didn't know. It like some of the things, like even like taming a dinosaur, I didn't learn until like you guys told me.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that first. Like people had to learn how to do that, especially at the very beginning. So.
No, you were playing months before us, and you told Ethan to try it, and Ethan tried it, but like didn't stick with it, and then he told me about it, and I tried it, and I stuck with it for a little while, but I've taken a couple breaks throughout it. But at this point, I have 1,200 to 1,300 hours in it.
Right. So I think, but my point is a big thing is if you're gonna get into it,
it's a long-term game. You can have a single player thing that you play every once in a while. That's no problem. You can just spawn in stuff. You can play it like Minecraft where you just build.
Right.
You know, that's fun. But for the online like multiplayer aspect of it,
right. So I think
I've been ridiculed for saying this before, but I think Eve. Think like it's not that big and it's not that hard and it's not that boring, but. But think like open world sandbox game with a lot of learning.
Right.
Like,
right. So
yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No. So like again, like for advice for someone first playing, ask people for help. I would say try to join a tribe or just chat, ask someone who is willing to teach you the ropes, because I think that is one of the most important things. Just like
there's you ask people for help. Being active in the chat is a good thing, but I would say one of the reasons that we were a 3-person tribe, the reason we made it so long, and did okay, is because we weren't that active in the chat until we were a little more established. Because people that are way too active in the chat, if someone's on to grief, they're gonna see your name popping up in global, and they're like, "This guy is whining about how he doesn't know how to do it." We're gonna just kill this guy first. So. Positives and negatives to that, but yeah, find someone else that plays the same hours as you. You'll notice it. You'll see people who are on your server at the same time, and just say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" Or can we trade for this? Try to trade. That's the biggest thing. Especially once we got to the kibble stage where we're getting kibble for all our dinosaurs, we could trade for so many things. People just don't want to do that work, and then we get things that we're like, "Oh, we hadn't even started on that."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, trade and find the people that are on the same time as you. Help them out. So, I don't know. Yeah, if you want to talk about me selling you on it, why to play it.
Yeah, sell it to someone who either hasn't heard of it before or maybe was too afraid to get into it because it just seemed too big.
I think a lot of people have tried it out and didn't stick with it. Probably were playing alone. Didn't have necessarily the patience to sit down and farm. So it takes a certain type of person. If you don't play MMOs like WoW, like ESO, things where you have to farm, you have to do mindless quests, you have to just sit there and do it. I remember way back when I was 14, playing RuneScape and loving just sitting there and mining runes or whatever the blank runes were. I forget. You had to go through a portal. It took you to this mine place, and then you went back to the bank. You stored them. You sold them. I love that. I'm I'm making money. There was, I don't know, stuff like that's always worked for me. One of my funnest experiences in RuneScape was just paying noobs 10 gold coins, a cowhide, and then walking to the next town, selling them for 100 apiece. Just business stuff like that, and you get which is really an Eve thing to do, selling your services in game to advance your character in the game in other ways.
Because people don't have the time.
Yeah, which is it's a core aspect of MMOs that people don't think about, but it's that was always the fun part for me. There would be nights if you need to catch up on Netflix, play Ark. You'll wanna. I would spend all night just farming metal by myself, flying around on my bird, and catching up, watching Frasier, the important shows.
Right. So just get 2 monitors.
Yeah.
Get an iPad out, and
don't have a job.
That too.
But honestly, that's my situation, and yeah, that's why I like the game.
Well, I mean, I would say watch the original trailer for the game again.
Watch the original trailer
and see what it could be, because if you have the people to play with, or if you want to meet people who are willing to help you, I think that part of the game is where it really shines, is having a tribe, having people to play with. Because I think playing by yourself really isn't the way to go. You're not gonna wanna. It's not gonna.
No, you want to play with a tribe. There just might be a lot of time where you're doing something by yourself. Yeah. But playing with a tribe is essential, because you can't work on everything. I work on building and farming. Cooper works on taming. Mm-hmm. Matt does a lot of things. I call Matt the level head in our tribe, because Cooper wants to just jump down someone's throat, and I'm depending on the thing, I might say the same thing. And Matt's no, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. And Matt will always work with me on building stuff. So yeah, so having a good balanced team is good too. And I don't know. That's it. Just if you want to chill, but also have action, never ending.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's good. You want to move on?
Yeah. So, you wanted to talk about Battlefront 2?
Yeah. Battlefront 2. I feel like we had a lot of stuff for a short period of time of just new stuff. We had EA Play, and we had Star Wars Celebration first, and then we had EA Play, and it was just a lot of news. It was just like never ending YouTube videos, different news announcements. We saw a lot of the game. We have all 3 eras coming. We have a lot of new stuff, and now it's just kind of like in a lull of no new news, like at all. And I even went back to the Battlefront 2015. I went through the timeline of like the website's news articles from EA and DICE, and they posted pretty frequently, like even like community updates, certain things. So if you, not that it's the best gauge, but if you go back 2 years, like on this date, they were updating the news like pretty frequently, whereas the last update they had was a little stuff on the single player, which is okay, but literally the last thing we had about the multiplayer was EA Play. Like we haven't had anything, and they have said that the next thing will be at Gamescom. We'll see more space battles and how the space combat will work.
Okay. Could it be that they don't want to show too much? I mean, I don't know. What else would you be expecting them to talk about before release?
So it is like I don't know. Like just to compare or give an example, say like I think actually it was either today or like yesterday, 2 years ago, they announced Blast for Battlefront, which is a team deathmatch.
Okay.
So it was more, I don't know if insignificant is the right word of news, but it was just like, it was almost like a slow but steady trickle of news of different game modes announced. And maybe it was just part of their marketing of getting people excited and making people think they had a lot of content, which we all know they didn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that was part of it, but I am kind of surprised they're obviously taking a different approach with Battlefront 2, whereas maybe they don't need to do that because they've already sold people on just the fact that there's going to be Clone Wars. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that plays a big part.
I could see, too, like, not necessarily wanting to spoil everything. Potentially even realizing that before they said they had too much. You know, if they want to change their ways a little bit on that.
Right.
So, being valuable.
But I mean, we'll definitely see when Gamescom, which is at the end of August. I forget the exact dates. I think it's the 27th, or maybe the last weekend with all the stuff coming out.
Oh, okay.
But regardless, Gamescom, when Battlefront 2015 came out, was at the very beginning of August. It was like the 5th.
Okay.
So, which would have been like next weekend, or this coming weekend. So it's a little different there. It's definitely at the end of the month, so it'll be a little bit longer. But I don't know. I mean, I felt like there was no communication really with the community for the last game, and I feel like for this game, it's the same if not worse. Just on the fact that they haven't posted a lot of new things on their website.
Okay.
So, but it's tough because coming from like a game like Overwatch or League, you kind of expect. You've come to expect at this point a lot of communication from the developers. Where a game like Battlefront from EA and DICE, they don't do that. They're not that type of game, I suppose. So, but I don't know. They have come out and said there's gonna be a lot less game modes. So I don't know exactly when they're gonna announce those things. One last notable thing before we move on to the main topic. The beta for the previous Battlefront wasn't announced until the 1st of September.
Okay.
And then even the date for it wasn't announced until like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
Which was still at the beginning of October, but this time around they've already announced the beta weeks ago, and we know it's October 6th. I think that's if you pre-order. No, if you pre-order it's October 4th. But so I'm guessing it's maybe a pre-order incentive. They want to try to get people to pre-order.
That's what it sounds like. If they're announcing it that far in ahead, never mind, we've had so much content from them. Like, what, we have 15, 20 minutes of gameplay? I forget. Like,
from just the live stream, I think it was like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
It was whatever that match lasted.
Yeah.
Might have been shorter. But if you go on YouTube, you can find a lot of content from the Game Changers, they're called.
Oh, okay.
Which are just YouTubers which EA has invited to play the game and help them adjust the game. So,
but it seems, I mean, just watching. I've watched some with you. I've watched some on my own. Like, it seems pretty dialed. Like, yeah, there's probably bugs and stuff like that, but I doubt that the beta is really, really important. Like, I'm sure they're aware of a lot of the bugs and just working on it.
Well, I think, like, the beta, I know some people don't like when you say this, but the beta is basically a demo.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big selling point.
I think it's been replaced. Obviously, they're going to release it with bugs because it creates an active community. Everybody gets to talk about it.
Plus, they playtest their servers. They do capacity things. Obviously, there's certain data they do get, but I think a big part of it is, especially for the last Battlefront, if you compare the beta to launch, there was no actual changes to the game. There's balanced tweaks to certain items or weapons or gear, but there's no big changes to the actual like menu or anything. So from going from alpha to beta, I expect a big change, but from beta to launch, there's not going to be a lot. No. It's just hopefully. And that's what worries me too, is that like in the last Battlefront there was a gun called the cycler rifle, which was like a sniper. People complained about it, that it was OP because people would die from it a lot. But like,
but you have to.
But the beta is such a small taste of the game. Whereas what happened was the game launched, and that wasn't even a star card you got early on. It was
you had to work for it.
You had to work for it. I think level like 27 or something.
Sniper rifles are strong. They should be strong.
Right. So you got the thing, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to use this. Like, it was so sick in beta. It was awful. They just totally nerfed it. It was useless. And
that stinks.
It was like, so I just hope people don't complain about certain things. Either in the alpha or
people
beta.
Are going to. Like, you can't stop that. It has more to do with I would think that it has more to do with the developer listening or not, because like in CS:GO you see a lot of changes like that. Like the ump was OP, so they nerfed it. Before that, there's been untold changes to the M4. I think they even made an AK. Yeah, they made an AK change within the last year, and that was pretty unheard of because the AK just should be what it is. Should kill one headshot.
Right.
Which it does. They just changed some other things about it. I think that with they're never gonna change the AWP. I don't think the sniper rifle, because it's insanely expensive. Someone can steal it. Like, it should be. I think a sniper rifle should be able to kill you.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of that has to do with how much the developer listens to the people.
I think,
and there's sometimes when a developer shouldn't listen to their fans. Or whoever's complaining about something.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's when you check the forums and Reddit regularly, you have to remember that it's such a small part of the community where, especially a game like Battlefront, which draws a lot more people in because it is Star Wars, you have to think like this is only a very, very small percentage of the people who play. So, but no, I have a big gripe with the way they balanced the previous game, because, which I don't want to get too much into, but every patch, it just changed so much of the game where it was just very frustrating because it made you think like, did they even actually playtest this? Because it literally went from one end of the spectrum to the other, where okay, this thing definitely needs a nerf, it was OP, to being you can't even use this anymore because it won't kill.
Wow.
You look at the numbers, say for example the barrage shoots 3 micro grenades or mini grenades, and it was like really good, really strong, and it got you a lot of kills because it shoots grenades, like,
yeah.
And so, but then they nerfed it to where if you looked at the numbers, it literally did like 30 damage per grenade, and so if they all landed,
if they all hit right next to the person,
they wouldn't
die.
The
person, they wouldn't die. Yeah, that's
so
insane.
And going forward, they did bring it back a little bit, but why did you even? I'm not a developer, but to me that doesn't even make sense. So
as long as the gun, I think with a gun like that, it should be a little hard to shoot. And, well, because you shouldn't have a giant magazine or whatever.
Right. Well, because it's a star card,
energy,
so it's on a cooldown.
Yeah.
So, but I thinking back, I remember they changed not only the damage per individual grenade, but they changed the fuse time, and I think the cooldown. So the cooldown was longer, the fuse time was longer, the damage was gone. So it wasn't even that like, okay, it takes longer for the grenades to go off. Is the fact that they don't. So it literally went from being a lot of what a lot of people used to being something. If you used it, it was utterly pointless. Like you wanted to use it because it was your favorite and it was cool, but it didn't do anything.
I could see sometimes like it might change to like a, I don't know what the range on it was, but like a suppressing thing. So, but was it a primary weapon? Or
no.
Explain star cards. I'm gonna play next week.
So if you don't know, Battlefront uses star cards, which is instead of like a secondary or like gear, it acts as like as basically like your gear. So you have like your main primary weapon, but then you can switch out your star cards as gear. So you can pick. You have 3 slots, 2 of which are more like, say, the barrage or just a grenade.
Okay.
So the barrage was 3 mini grenades, basically.
Oh, okay.
So it was good for... It was just,
clearing a point.
Or just shooting it into a hallway because there was a lot of people. But...
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of complaint about the explosive spam because there was the impact grenade, thermal grenade, and the barrage. So like people would select the impact grenade and the thermal grenade. So you had 2 grenades or barrage with either of those.
Yeah.
Which they could have simply solved by saying like, okay, if you
can only have 1 slot of grenades.
Yeah. Like that would have been an easy fix. Yeah. But they didn't do that. So whatever. I'm not a developer. They did what they had to do. Yeah. So, but for Battlefront 2, I just hope for the beta they take what the community says with a pinch of salt because it's only a small part of the community, and sometimes they don't know best, especially in an alpha or beta where it's not even full game yet. Yeah, they changed it before the game actually even launched.
Yeah, never mind. Like with a beta like this, like you were talking about how betas are demos now. A lot of times, I think with some MMOs, sometimes it's a little bit more intense. Like I like a beta that asks you, what other betas have you been a part of? Like, you know, like I remember when I got into ESO, they asked me about that. They're like, have you ever done a beta before? Like, which ones? Like it was like an interview. Right. And that way they know they're getting good people. Like with a beta that you just have to pre-order for, there's no qualifications.
Well, not even. There's not. The pre-order, especially with Destiny now and now Battlefront, it gets you a day or 2 or 3 days early access, but it's still open.
Oh, it's still open. Oh, so open betas, closed betas are actual betas. Right. Yeah.
So basically, the alpha is
the beta.
Yeah.
It's just that beta becomes such a buzzword. Like, people are like, oh yeah, I gotta get the beta. Yeah. Like, I gotta get it early, which I get that. Like, if you're a fan of something, it literally is
a demo. Like, people, not only does it draw on the people who obviously are gonna play this game and buy it, so they're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to play, like, it's a big thing, but people who maybe are on the fence, they can download it, they can try it, and see what it's about. It's a marketing thing. I mean, EA is a master at scheming the market to get the most money. I mean, good for them. They're really good at it. But
guys, we bought DICE. It's gonna be great.
But no, that's, I mean, there's no complaints. I mean, it's totally fine. Like, but no, the alpha is where they really do test and fix a lot of the bugs. Like, so we'll see. Beta is in October. It's still 2 months away now. Yeah. So
I'm sure it'll be fun. But like
we'll see. I mean, Battlefront
it's not really time to make balance changes. Like it, especially like. Is there with this type of game, is there a competitive mode versus quick play mode, or it's all just the same?
Battlefront it's too, especially, I think it's less so in Battlefront 2, but the other Battlefront, the previous one was so casual, and I think they did that. They obviously did it on purpose, where they wanted more of an arcade type shooter, where they could appease more younger players. Yeah. Because it's Star Wars, it draws in a big audience. Yeah. So they wanted to go more casual, more easy to pick up and just play, which is fine. But I think the way, we'll see how Battlefront 2 plays out. But from what Alpha showed, and I did get to play the Alpha, so I know. What the Alpha showed is that it's more of an in-between, like a really hardcore game and the casual game, where you can still pick it up and play it. Like, that's the thing. It's Star Wars. Like any kid is gonna play it. It doesn't matter how like if it's crazy
hard to do. Yeah,
kids play Call of Duty. Like they don't need to really understand. It's
too much. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Star Wars. They'll play it. I think it's definitely a good change that they've done with the classes and everything. But now that we've gone way off topic, let's ask the big question of: is Battlefront 2 pay to win?
Okay.
So pay to win is obviously bad because no one should be able to pay a lot of money
for items that give you an advantage in game, or
right. Because not everyone is rich or has their parents to buy stuff for them.
Yeah.
So
never mind. It changes. Like even if we all have the money, maybe we don't want to spend it. Maybe we like it taking time.
Yeah.
We like the gradual process.
Even for me, I like the process. Like I say for the last game, if you got the deluxe edition, you got like certain items and then like the DL-44, which was a blaster gun that was really strong.
Mm-hmm.
But once I played the game, I found out that it was literally the last gun to unlock.
Oh.
Like level 50, I think.
Okay.
So if you bought the deluxe, you had it at launch. So once I learned that, I had already not put in the code yet.
Okay.
So once I learned that, I'm like, there's no way I'm putting this code in because I want to, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, maybe if it's midway, that makes way more sense. Like, okay, like.
So once you get to level 50, is there a prestige system or?
Nope.
Okay, so it's just get to 50.
Get to 50, you're at
okay.
Max
It's not
level.
like Call of Duty where you have to
like
re-earn the guns every
it's not
time.
like Overwatch.
Because so if it's an only ever one-time process, I would think do the process. With games like World of Warcraft and other stuff like that, where they sell like get a free level 90 character when you buy this expansion.
Right.
Sometimes I don't mind that as much because there's ways to power level. You can always you're gonna level another character no matter what.
Right.
So there's gonna be a leveling process. But if it's only ever once, then use that crappy rifle and get good with that crappy rifle, and then use it.
Yeah, I think it's just I want to feel, especially because you don't, at least as far we don't know, but for the previous Battlefront, you didn't. Once you got to max level, that was it. You didn't go back down. So it's kind of like, okay, if that's the end game, why would I want the reward for getting to that level right away at level 1?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't feel good, especially because there's already a lack of content of customization in weapons and certain things in the game. So
never mind, like a lot of times it's very useful to be good at like with every weapon in a game, or at least know what they do. Like
right.
Again, like my just reference with CS:GO, it's like I'm not good with the Glock, and I really need to be because it's the starter terrorist pistol. I'm always buying a P250 or 5.7 on first round of terrorism. But the USB, I'm fine with. Like I need to improve on that, and it's because you can just buy your way out of it that I'm not.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, I get that.
So we've established. Personally, I like to grind for things. Not so much grind, but just work towards things. Other people don't. Other people don't have as much time. So the big thing in Battlefront 2 is that they have loot crates now, which is a very common thing now in games. Battlefield 1 had them. Overwatch has them. The way it works in Battlefront 2 is that you'll get star cards. And they've even come out and said certain things like the victory emotes at the end of a round. Kind of like Overwatch again.
Mm-hmm.
You can unlock different poses through this loot crate system.
Okay.
So we're not sure if loot crates involve weapon attachments or customization or anything like that. It could be, it could not be.
Well, it sounds like just star cards sounds like that's something you typically have to earn. In the game?
In the previous game, yeah.
Okay.
You would have to not only be a certain level, but you got credits in the game that you'd have to then purchase for that card. Okay. So the way Battlefront 2 works is a little differently, where you have credits again, but then you also have crafting parts. So credits are used to purchase the loot crates. It's, as far as we know, you don't get a loot crate from leveling up. You just spend credits that you get by playing the matches for loot crates.
And you can't buy the loot crates for real money?
No, you can.
Okay,
I haven't gotten there yet.
That's instant issue. Sorry.
So let's just get to the main topic. Yeah. Is it pay to win? Maybe.
because everyone can get to 50, that's like their out. That's their out. We'll just put in more time, and you'll get to level 50, or whatever the max level will be for this game.
There's a lot of questions left to be answered, but as far as we know, you spend in-game money to get the loot boxes. The loot boxes or loot crates then give you a certain star card at a certain level. There's 4 levels per star card. Each one gradually improves the star card or gear. So say you have a thermal detonator, which is a grenade. Once you start out, say, level 1 or uncommon, and then you work up to epic, and the cooldown is, say, it goes down 1 second every level. So the max level then is 4 seconds shorter than at level 1. So you could say it's not that big of a difference. It's only 4 seconds. It doesn't make it, it doesn't make the grenade a special grenade where it does double the damage or something. Yeah. But that's only one instance where we don't know what other cards' upgrades will be. One thing that we have seen, if you go on YouTube and look it up, you'll find that there's a level beyond epic, which is legendary, which can only be obtained by loot crates. You can't use the crafting parts to. So say you really like the assault class, you really like the abilities and the star cards that are associated with the assault class. You can use your crafting parts to specifically upgrade one ability because you like that one the most. Yeah. That sounds fair. So, but the legendary, which is the highest level, you can only get through a loot crate. So there's definitely an incentive to buy loot crates when you can only get those through them. Yeah. And the thing...
I think part of the issue is that because it doesn't have a competitive... Like, they don't separate the whatever gameplay, quick play from competitive. But there are still leaderboards, I'm sure. And there is still a ranking for KDA. No, nothing like that? No. Like, because Call of Duty has all that, right?
This one doesn't have that.
Oh.
So then Battlefront 2, again, don't know. But just going off of what the other Battlefront was, no.
So then that's their out. Like,
it gave you your stats, but you don't know.
Because this would never happen in Overwatch.
No. Couldn't.
Because
I mean,
it would be
obviously, Overwatch is a much different
Yeah, it's because people work for their thing. If they were to ever... I think they wouldn't do any of this stuff. But, again, like, EA specializes, or,
Getting money.
So
the caveat, though, is that DLC post-launch is free. All of it is free. Yep. This way, it won't split the player base. You can all play together. The population won't die immediately, especially on PC. Yeah. For me, it doesn't bother me because my experience with the first Battlefront was ruined, especially once DLC came out. The base game, it lacked content, but it was still fun. I thought it was really fun. But once DLC started coming out, not only did the extra gear and the fact that you couldn't... The DLC was only in a playlist. You couldn't pick your favorite game mode. You had to just jump all over the place. And then, especially after the last DLC, there was so much gear. It just... To me, it felt over-cluttered with OP items.
Weapon options.
Yeah, because you would just get one hit, killed by so many different things. It's just frustrating. There's no real strategy to it. Where hopefully Battlefront 2 with the class system, it has more of a balanced type of format. So, but another key thing I was thinking of, and this is only based off of the alpha, so keep that in mind, is that when you were killed, kind of like the last game, when you were killed, it would show you the player, and then their hand, and then what exactly in their hand you were killed with. In the previous game, it would show you if you could only upgrade your star card once. You'd buy the upgraded version, it lowered a cooldown or whatever, and it would show you that. In Battlefront 2, according to the alpha, it doesn't show you what level their gear is. It's just all black and white. There's no colors associated with it. Okay, he killed me with his thermal grenade, but it didn't tell you, okay, this is an epic tier or, the white tier, which is the lowest. So if it stays like that, I think that plays a big factor in if people think it's pay to win, because if people don't know what level the enemy's gear is, then they can't complain like, okay, I only died because this guy had all legendary stuff. Yeah. You don't know. Only that person would know. So is it skill, or is it because he has slightly modified stuff?
It leaves some doubt, that he's a good player, or benefit of the doubt.
Right.
I could see also that being a marketing decision for it being the alpha. Maybe they haven't decided on the balance of some things, how many levels they'll have, what the levels are. So they might not want to have said, "Oh, this is the legendary thing," and then people say, "That's the legendary thing? That sucks." People already complaining about balance.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
They had in last generation's beta. Yeah. I could see that, but hopefully they do something to alleviate the concerns.
Yeah, definitely. So, but some people have come out and said that they think because of Backlash they will make legendary cards craftable. I think this is false.
You don't think they're gonna?
I don't think EA would ever do this because it's a huge incentive to buy the loot boxes or loot crates. So
they could include something else to replace it that would still make people want to buy it. But...
I think they should, but I think the price for crafting a legendary item should be really high, where it feels like you have to grind for it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
I understand it from the pay-to-win perspective. Like, okay, that's not fair that people can spend money on loot boxes and have a better chance at getting legendaries than just buying them with in-game money and having to work for it.
Yeah.
So I think if it's craftable, that will help people feel better about it, that they can work towards that and do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should come at a cheap price. It should be really hard to work at that last level. Plus, I think that will help people play the game longer.
I mean, I think that worked for Hearthstone. Legendaries were craftable and through packs. And the thing is there's always going to be incentive to buy loot crates. It's not like they don't have it. Like with any game, if there's a new loot crate with the if there's a new loot crate from a DLC. Yeah. That's an instant way they say all the DLC's free. Just call everything a DLC.
Right.
We have a new loot crate for this new map. And people just buy a ton of them.
No.
There's easy ways to monetize stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Look at Overwatch. Every event they have, new cosmetics and stuff, and people are like, okay, well, I want all these before they go away, so I'm just gonna pay money.
Drop $80,
which is
$100.
It's obviously Overwatch is completely different because it's just cosmetic stuff, but I think Battlefront can do a similar thing with because they're calling them seasons, not DLC packs or whatever. So I think they can definitely, add certain cosmetic things or just different gear that will cause people to, okay, I just want this right away.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. Even look at Overwatch changing the duplicate, how often you get duplicates to being less now. I think my biggest worry is not how it's laid out, it's how DICE is going to format everything and figure everything out. I think the game is going to be huge, so I think they have a huge task at hand.
Yeah. I think as long as it's an improvement, they might consider doing another one. The chat people are talking in the chat, which is pretty cool because this is our first episode, and I don't know hugs, not drugs. Jack Attack, Vape Nash, and I don't know what you're talking about, Connor. Future microphones? Furby microphones. Oh, dude, yeah. It speaks verbal, for real.
Alright. I think... How long do you think we've been running?
Probably over an hour, I would think. What time is it? Yeah.
Alright, we can close out the show here.
Hey guys, thanks for checking in, but follow us. I don't have follow notifications on though, so you can wait till next week if you want. We'll do something. Yeah.
So moving forward, we're gonna try to do the show every other week, on Monday nights, obviously, like the name. This month is kind of crazy though, so maybe a different date or a different day. But so follow us to know when.
Yeah, follow the
Twitch.
The Twitch and the Twitter. We put out updates on Twitch, but more than likely Twitter's a lot easier.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this on a podcast as audio, certain places you can follow us is on Twitter. I am at NikkiGirl7. That's with a U instead of an I in the girl.
We'll get lower third, so we can just put it up there as well. You can follow me on Twitch. I'm gonna have to spell mine, or Twitter, both. I'm gonna have to spell mine too. Twitch and Twitter is Tolmaeith, TOLMAEITH. I try to stream. I haven't been streaming lately just because of some scheduling conflicts, but I'll definitely be getting back into that soon. You can follow me on Twitter to find out when.
All right.
We'll be making a YouTube for this soon. We'll be putting so hopefully you'll be able to get this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher Radio soonish. Gonna work on that in the next couple days.
Yep.
But we will be exporting it over to our YouTube of the same name, Respawn Mondays. Might be a space in that because
probably.
Yeah. And it'll stay on Twitch for a little bit. Okay, so we set our personal Twitch and Twitters. Do we want to talk to the chat a little bit? People are saying stuff. You guys are married. Your wives keep texting me. They're worried. Pride Kappa. Triggered.
All right. Well, it's been real. Stay tuned for when we will have our next episode or respawn.
Yeah.
And thanks for respawning with us.
Yeah. See you guys next week or whenever.
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, my wife texted me.
Oh, shit. I don't maybe text me, but it was just something. Yeah, you gotta get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an hour 15. It's not that bad. Hey, we're still live. Hugs Not Drugs asked when is the next episode. I don't know if Hugs Not Drugs can hear me. You can repeat it though. We're gonna maybe stream something else this week. We were thinking maybe play some Battlefront. Or do you want to do an episode next week?
We will get back to you. We may do an episode next Monday. We may stream something. We may do something. We're still figuring out scheduling stuff.
Yeah. So follow on Twitter, like we said.
No after show.
No after show.
Did the does it saves it as a video, right?
It will, yeah.
As a file?
It'll stay on Twitch for a while. It
Okay.
won't be there permanently. So
But like on your computer though.
Yeah, so I've downloaded that as well.
Okay.
And so we can I was thinking
For the
uploading
audio.
that.
Because
Yeah,
the audio we have to edit now, especially because that span of getting owned.
Yeah, we'll cover that in a second. I'm just gonna end this. Stop streaming.